from having that asthma, from having that phlegm in there at all the times. And I'm trying to hack this up, my histamine, adrenaline, and cortisol. That is causing little micro tears in the lungs. So you're causing little bits of fibrin to go there and encase that area and make you feel more restricted. And then those ribs are attaching to that area that encase the lungs and the heart. So I want to get more mobility. I want to feel like I can bend well. I want to feel like I can turn well. And I want to feel like I'm not restricted anymore in my lungs. So generally, base of the ribs, the iliac crest. That's going to be where the floating rib is. I know, okay, feel for the first rib. Perfect. I see that his arms are above. Perfect. Inferior tip of the scapula. That's going to be the top of the rib section. I'm not going to be able to get onto the ribs that are hiding under the scapula bone. So we're just technically taking apart 5 to 6 ribs on that side. I'm going to begin with my nice airplane landing technique, effleurage massage, and then I'm going to stimulate the kidney area because most people are dehydrated. Most people are really mineral deficient, so they're not even getting the actual water into the tissues. And sometimes people are too waterlogged in their kidneys without even minerals in there, and they don't get proper absorption as well. So the area can get really sensitive, and then your nervous system's off because your adrenal glands are shot. And so everything kind of doesn't feel in a cadence of balance in my body anymore. So I'm going to begin airplane landing, little bit of kidney sweep, and then we begin with our washboard technique to relieve superficial tension that is built up on top of the ribs, that is feeding from one rib to the next. And then I go in between to release those intercostal muscles to really get that expansion of the side of the ribs. Just stop me if you have any questions. So making sure my hands are clean and nice and warm. Beginning with that nice airplane landing technique. Come down and around. And I'm going to land that 3 to 5 times. And then get your thumbs in there because the ribs are a sensitive area for a lot of people. You're not touched. It's a medial side. Your arms are protecting this all the time. So it is a little sensitive. So if people are really ticklish, you got to go a little bit deeper. I'd rather it be a little painful opposed to ticklish because they'll stop you from getting in. So now that I've kneaded it out, I've landed that airplane. You could get your knuckles in there. You can get your fingers, just feeling the structure, because everybody's ribs, all our body, we have all the same bones and stuff, but our structure is a little different. One pelvis is shaped like this, one thing's shaped like that. Some people's ribs come down like pretty vertically, and you'll see that their case like comes down. And then some people come to the side. So I just kind of feel out to feel for his rib, because I feel it here, and then I know his ribs are like more on a straight angle coming in, opposed to somebody whose ribs come downwards. So you just kind of get an idea of their structure by getting your fingers in there, but the elbow is what's going to be pulling all that crystallization and scar tissue apart. Because I can feel like harder areas and a little buildup, but I can't do anything with it. Okay, so I stimulated that. You can put a little bit of coconut oil on that forearm so it glides along a little bit better, but I place my forearm for that kidney sweep, and I'm grabbing with my guide hand. And it's just a sweeping motion of good pressure to bring nice blood flow and stimulation to the kidney area. This is just getting it activated. He'll be good at this.
I remember that one.
You better. Okay, so you can do that about a minute. That's all that's really necessary. And I'm just watching him react. He's not freaking out. I'm watching his feet. I'm kind of getting the sense of his tension. His kidneys aren't that bad, but he has some scar tissue on this side, clearly retracting the ribs because he's damaged over here. We can see it's higher than the one side. So, starting at that iliac crest, base of the ribs, still beside the spine on that erector spinae muscle, but I'm going to be using more of my medial epicondyle to do some washboarding, and it's superficial tension because I'm not directly over my olecranon, so it's not a lot of pressure. It's superficial shaving technique to relieve any of that little bits of fibrous tissue attaching the ribs together. Placing that elbow, beginning at the base of the kidneys, which is like the iliac crest area. I'm going to stay on the erector spinae muscle, just loosen that off. If they're really tender from when we did the spine, you don't need to stay on it. Come out a little bit more to the ribs. But I'm just loosening off that erector spinae muscle, staying in my breath, and I'm not working hard at all right now, but I feel little bits of fibers. You got to increase your pressure to what the client can tolerate. Build a trustworthy relationship with them. Work to that inferior tip. And then this is where I just, like, I'm right beside him, and that's just it. People are always, massage therapists, everything is always armed with a way. I'm going to be shocked. My body is not going to feel good at the end of the day if I do that. But if I have a towel for separation, you're right beside them, you're tucked in, and you're putting them through this kind of pressure, it makes them also tolerate it a lot more. It's because they feel comfortable. So then I'm going to use that little bit of medial epicondyle to release that superficial tension over the ribs. And then I'm getting ready to go face to side in a moment, because that's where I'm going to go on top of the rib and between in the intercostal muscles to really get that gap in.